Namaskar, my dear friends. So let us see one of the best microcontroller that has been released by Texas Instruments recently, which is MSP-M0 series. Okay. So in this MSP-M0 series, we will be targeting our device MSP-M0L1306. So our target device will be 1306, and at the same time it will be of 32 pin package. So 32 pin VQFN package. Okay. So that would be our specific design. However, this design method and this design approach will be applicable to all the devices of MSP-M0L13 series. Okay. So let's outline the some of the topics that we will be discussing in this particular session. So first of all, we'll try to understand what are the device details, features and resources that is available for the design and development task from Texas Instruments. So Texas Instruments actually provide a lot of like resources, let's say evaluation boards or programming methods or programming platforms, development platforms. So many application notes, all those things. Okay. Then we'll try to understand what are the applications of this particular device. We have device development resource, as I have already told you. We will have a small device comparison as well, so that you can choose the best device for your specific application, because you don't want to overkill your design, like you don't want to have many options and you're not using in your application, so you will be going ahead with little bit lower options, right, or lower features. And if you need very high end features, then you will be taking the highest end device. Okay. We will be seeing the functional block diagram, which will give us an indication like what are the different peripherals, timers, GPIOs or PWMs, or like ADCs, DAC, all those things are available. It gives very good understanding uh, through the functional block diagram. Then we'll see the basic schematic, how we can design the schematic. We'll see schematic design demonstrations and implementation as well. Okay. And at the same time, we'll try to understand how we can generate bill of materials, assembly and testing and programming procedures. After this session, we'll try to understand some of the topics, let's say LED driver and BLDC motor driver and battery charger. These are the three applications that we have utilized for this particular microcontroller for low end applications. Okay. All right, so let's proceed. So in this session, if you can see, we have the product link here. So product link will give you the data sheet, product informations and supports and everything. And as you can see, MSP M0L1306. Okay. This is for consumer applications, appliances, battery power devices and industrial applications. And it is 32 megahertz ARM Cortex M0 MCU. Okay. With 64 kilobytes of flash, 64 kilobytes of flash and 4 KB SRAM as well. It has inbuilt 12-bit ADCs, comparators, and inbuilt op-amp also is there. Okay, so inbuilt operational amplifier is also there. In the previous series, we had already seen MSP-M0L1105. Okay, so in this, we are going to see 1306. Okay, so let us see why MSP-M0L series is very important and why it is so much famous now. Because TI has, like made a very low cost, high efficiency ARM Cortex M0 Plus MCU. Okay, so Texas Instrument has come up with ARM Cortex M0 Plus MCUs with very low cost and very high in embedded features. Right, you can have write processing and integrated analog features for any general purpose designs. Any general purpose designs, let's say battery power device and all, we'll see the applications as well. The best thing is it can reduce your design time from months to days. So within some 5-6 days, you will be able to come up with your particular design and start your programming. Then if you see, making the future of embedded system possible with a scalable processing portfolio. So basically, if you design with one of the device, let's say 1306, I'm going to talk about MSP-M0L1306, then you will be able to extend the same concept or same design for other series as well, like 1105 or 1106 and other portfolios as well. And we have many different packages, availability and pricing is very famous, like pricing is very low. You can see we have starting from 16 pin to up to around 48 pins, and pricing is very small. So let us try to understand the different portfolio about this particular microcontrollers. If you see, it can be seen here that down, this is the package availability. Okay, so we have SOT16 package onwards, SOT16, VSSOP20, VQFN24, we have VSSOP28. So if you want a pin output outside, then you can have VSSOP20, which we saw in the last workshop, and we have VSSOP28 also. Now if you have a very high-end applications, or like you are not like restricted with your PCB manufacturing and all, then you can go ahead with VQFN package as well. And you can see we have VQFN 48 and LQFP 48 also, and LQFP 64 also. Okay. So these high, like pin counts packages are available only with MSPM 0G series. Okay, so 0G series. So G series we are not talking about. So we will be restricting ourselves with MSPM 0L1306, 1306 and 1305 and all. So you can see this is the device of our target: 1304, 1305, and 1306. Okay, so these are the three devices: this one, and this one. So this will be the device of our interest. Okay, and you can see the frequency is 32 megahertz, and this color, orange color, frequency is up to 80 megahertz, and this yellow color frequency is up to 80 megahertz plus CAN application. So this yellow one will be utilized for our automotive application as well, because they are having inbuilt CAN. Okay, good. So we are good to go ahead. Now we'll try to understand some of the features that is there with this particular device. So in this, if you can see, we have ARM Cortex 32-bit, okay, with M0 plus CPU, frequency up to 32 megahertz, okay. Now if you see, we have extended temperature range up to -40 to 125 degrees centigrade. We have 1.62 volt to 3.6 volt. So this is very good for 3.3 volt application as well as 1.8 volt logic level application, okay. But we will be concentrating our design on 3.3 volt logic applications, okay. We have the memories up to 64 kilobytes, and we have SRAM as well. We have SRAM which is going to be up to 4 kilobytes. Good. Now we are going to talk about the high performances analog features. In this, if you can see, we have one 12-bit 1.68 Mbps analog to digital converters, okay. So that you don't have to worry about. The thing is, in short, it is 12-bit ADC that is available, and number of channels are very, very, like high. Around 10 channels are there, which is going to be more than enough, okay. Then we have configurable voltage references, which is going to be from 1.4 volt or 5.5 volt internal. So there is no need of external reference voltage for your ADC application. If you want, you can have; otherwise, you can utilize 1.4 volt or 2.5 volt internal ADC application, ADC internal voltage reference. The best thing is it has two zero drift, zero crossover chopper operational amplifier. Okay, so it has very good operational amplifier which is inbuilt. This can be utilized, and one general purpose amplifier is also there. Okay, it has one high speed comparator with 8-bit reference DAC. Okay, and it has 32 nanosecond propagation delay. It has low power mode down to less than 1 microampere. So basically, when the device is in sleep mode or something like that, it can be consuming less than 1 microampere current. So this is going to be very user friendly for your handheld device, where it is battery powered device. So this will be consuming very less power. Now if you see, we have programmable analog connections between ADCs, op amps, comparator and DAC. So basically, you don't have to take out the pin outside. It will be internally connected, and you can route your ADC's values to your op amps or something like that, so that you can, or op amps output can be taken to the ADC for ADC conversions. So there will not be a wastage of your pins. Now it has integrated temperature sensor as well, which will give you opportunity to sense the temperature of the device. Coming to the fact that optimized low power mode, so it can be like taking just 71 microampere per megahertz. So this is I think in my like experience till now, we are seeing the microcontrollers with the lowest power consumption in running mode. Okay, and it has a stop mode at 151 microampere for at 4 megahertz. All right, it has a standby current consumption of just 1 microampere with 32 kilohertz 16-bit timer running. So at 32 kilohertz, that is RTC application, it will be just consuming 1 microampere current. and it has shutdown which will be having just 61 nano ampere with IO wake up capability. So IO can be wake up in shutdown mode if it is there, and it can be awakened. Now let us talk about some intelligent digital peripherals. So we saw analog peripherals, we saw optimized low power modes. We are now going to see the intelligent digital peripherals. So if you are aware of about all the features and the resources that is available with this particular device, our design method will be quite easy. Okay. So I suggest you, whenever you see a particular microcontroller, or like you want to design something, you always try to go ahead with the features table which is coming into the first page itself, and then you will be able to understand the capability of this particular device. Okay. So it is having 3-channel DMA controller. It is having 3-channel even fabric scaling system, signaling system, and it has four 16-bit general purpose timer, each of them having capture and compare registers with supporting low power operation in standby mode. All right, and that is the thing, that is the advantage. It is going to give you around 8 PWM outputs. Okay, so that is the best thing. So if you want, you can utilize this particular device in your motor driver application as well for low power devices. It has two UART as well as one supports LIN application. Okay, so it is going to like have IRDA as well as DALI smart card and Manchester, and both support low power operation in standby mode. So basically what is going to happen is, it has two UARTs. One of them can support LIN. Okay, LIN protocol. So LIN protocol, CAN protocol, all these things you already know. We have IRDA application as well. We have DALI dimming and all. So that will be used in LED driver applications and all. Now if you see some other applications or some other features that is there, so it has two I2C as well, like I2C, so inter-integrated circuit. So two UART, two I2C. Then it is going to have one SPI also. So all the three communication interface is available with this particular device: UART, then I2C and SPI, with this very low cost. Now coming to the fact about clock system, so it has internal 4 to 32 megahertz oscillator with 1.2% accuracy. Okay, and it has internal 32 kilohertz low frequency oscillator also. So there is no need to have like external oscillator for your high frequency application as well as for RTC applications. So even RTC application can be supported very easily with internal oscillators. It has data integrity which is going to be CRC16 or CRC32. So cyclic redundancy checker is there, and then it has flexible IO features up to 28 GPIO. So just in 32 pin package, if you are going to have up to 28 GPIOs, it is like very good. We have two pins which is going to have 5-volt tolerance. Okay, so if you are going to utilize some beep buzzer or something like that, then, or you have some high voltage LEDs, then you can drive with this 5-volt LED driver kind of thing. So LED indicators generally take a 3.3 volt, but however if there is a voltage drop of little bit high, then you can drive those LEDs with this 5-volt applications. Okay, we have development support. So basically the programming will be SWD programming with just 2-pin serial wires, and as we have already seen and we'll see later as well, so we have a 32-pin package, 28-pin package, 24-pin package, 20-pin package and 16-pin package. Okay, so our concentration is on 32-pin VQFN package. All right, now if you can see the family members, so family members are having MSPM 0L13X3. Okay, so this is going to have around 8 kb flash, and 04 is going to have 16, and 05 is 32 kb, and 06 is going to have 64 kb. So I am going to use 06 like MSPM 0L1306. So X can be changed to 0, 1, 2, 3 based on the different family members, but I'm going to use 1306 which is going to have 64 kilobytes of flash. Okay, and we have development kits and software as well, which is going to be Launchpad, which is MSPM 0L1306 Launchpad. Okay, so this is the kit that we have with us for the development and training purpose. Okay, so let us move to the next one. We have already seen the development board is there. So Launchpad MSPM 0L1306 development kit is there for 32-bit 32 megahertz ARM Cortex M0 MCU. and the link is given here. So I'll post the link in the uh, description box. Now, if you see the evaluation board will look something like this. So it is having almost everything, and it is mounted with 32 pin VQFN package. So this is the device that is there, if you can see. Okay, and it has inbuilt so many features, like one of the uh, let's say LEDs are there, push buttons are there, and all the pins are taken outside so that you can like connect for your external applications. Now, as I was talking about the applications, so applications, if you see, so it is going to have, or let me take here itself, it will be much better. So let us say it has battery charging and management applications. It can be used in your power supplies and power delivery. It can be used in your personal electronics, and it can be used in your building security and fire safety. It can be connected into your connected peripherals and printers. It is very useful in your grid infrastructure applications, smart metering application. It is having communication modules as well. Then it can be used in your lighting, basically like LED drivers these days. Industrial LED driver are there, or home LED driver are there, which require very less number of like pins. So we have already designed with one LED driver with 26 watt of capacity, and that we have utilized MSP M0L1105, the previous series of this one, but 1306 also can be used directly. Okay, and it can be used very easily in your medical and healthcare applications as well. Like let us say low end application, let's say if you have blood pressure monitors, or thermometers, or let us say we have SpO2 metering or something like that. So basically home healthcare, it can be used very easily. Now, as we have seen, the datasheet link is already shown to you. So datasheet link will be looking like this. Anyway, as I was talking about, all right, so we can see device comparisons. In this table, we have lot of devices that is mentioned here. So we are going to see RHB, which is going to be 32 pin VQFN. Okay. So if you can see, we have ADC 10 channels, we have comparator 1, we have op-amp 2, we have general purpose amplifier 1, we have UART I2C and SPI 2, 2 and 1. We have timer, which is 4 timers. So they are going to be able to like generate 4 into 2, that is 8 PWMs, because they will be having complementary functions as well. We have up to 28 GPIOs, and we have 5 volt tolerance IOS pin as 2 numbers. Now coming to the fact that these three devices are actually pin to pin compatible. Okay, but 06 is having only one change, which is going to be 64 kilobytes of flash, and 05 is having 32 kilobyte, and 04 is going to have 16 kilobytes. Okay, similar to that, other devices are also there, like DGS, or DGS is going to have 28 pin BSSOP, and similar to that, other pin packages are there. So if you want, you can see this particular table for your particular number of pin selection device, but our concentration is on 32 pin VQFN package. Now let us move to the block diagram of this particular device, which will give us like a complete picture at one place. So if you can see, we have SWCLK and SWDIO, which is going to be programming. Okay, then we have TX, RX, and CTS and RTS, that is clear to send and request to send, and two are there, so that is two UARTs are there, UART 0 and UART 1. Similar to that, we have I2C, I2C 0 and I2C 1. Okay, then we have timers, which is, you can see, like each timer are having two channels, like timer 0, 1, 2 and timer 4. Okay, so that is having two channels, so total 8 channel will be there, which will be giving us the PWM as well. Okay, then you have clock input output, so this is ROSC clock input output. Okay, and we have power supply, which is VDD, VSS and V core supply is there, and it has NRST, that is reset pin as functionality. It has watchdog timer as well, so you can see this is watchdog timer. We have comparator also, so input plus, input minus and output, that is comparator. And we have general purpose amplifier, which is going to be input, output and input, non-inverting input, inverting input and output. Similar to that, we have op-amps also. So operational amplifier, we have same way general purpose amplifier, like the same thing. So it has two operational amplifier 0 and 1. Coming to the fact that it has event out. Okay, so it can give you the like some indication, like okay, something has happened, occurred. So this is kind of interrupt or something like that. We have V reference internal, so it has like V reference pin and V reference minus pin. So basically you can add an external voltage reference pin as well. It has 10 channel external analog to digital converters channels. Okay, so only one ADC is there, however it has total 10 number of channels, so you can connect 10 signals to be converted to your ADC applications. It has one SPI which is going to be POCI. Okay, POCI is peripheral output client input. Okay, so MISO MOSI same way it is POCI and PICO. Okay, so peripheral outputs client input means peripheral means the master, so it will be MOSI like like POCI is will be equivalent to your MOSI. Okay, so peripheral output client input means master output slave input. Okay, see this is how it will be called. And similar to that, PICO is MISO, and it has clock and chip select. It has DMA as well, so you can see it has DMA and CRCs, and it has port pins, which I just now told you that it is having around 28 number of pins, which is going to be supporting for your general purpose input output applications. So this is what the all about, like functional block diagram of this particular device, MSPM0L1306. So this is one of the best device that has been released by Texas Instruments for very low price application as well as very high performance. Okay, so if you see the pin configuration, so pin configuration will look something like this. So this is having 32 pin package, and it is like sorted in this manner, like pin number 1 to 8 and then 9 to 16, and similar to that 17 to 24 and to 25 to 32. And it has thermal pad which is going to support you for better thermal heat capacity, or like thermal heat dissipation. And if you see, these pins are like arranged in such a manner that it has been color coded. So the red pins are actually the power pins, so these two are red pins, and this V core is also red pin, so you can see core, they are power pins. The reset pin is coded into blue color, so that NRST is reset pin. We have high speed IOs which is coded directly, so you don't have to go into the data sheet and see it. You can directly see that PA19 is high speed pin, as well as PA5 and PA10 is high speed pin. Okay, so a little bit of, like a light blue color is having high speed capacities. Now the green color is going to have 5 volt tolerance, which you can see PA0 and PA1 are high volt tolerant. All right, so this is what the complete understanding is, and rest other pins are normal GPIOs. Same way other packages are also there, like we have VSSOP28, VSSOP28, another like uh, understanding, and then we have VQFN28 also. Okay. So like VSSOP28 is having 130X, and this is having 134X. So there is little you change in 134 and 130. So that's the reason VSSOP28 is given in both the manners. Now if you talk about, we have other pins as well, like VSSOP20, VSSOP20 in 134 family, and then we have 130X family 16 pin package, as well as 130X family 16 pin package in SOT package. All right, so this is WQFN package and this is SOT package. So I hope you are now clear about the complete functionality of this particular device, and what are the different peripherals and different packages that is available with this device. Now we'll talk about what are the recommended operating conditions that we can like take up for this particular device. Okay, so before we proceed for circuit design, we have to understand what are the electrical characteristics of this device, like what are the voltages that it will be taking up, right? So if you see supply voltage, so VDD supply voltage, it can take minimum 1.62 volt to maximum 3.6 volt. So our application will be 3.3 volt. So our VDD will be equal to 3.6 volt. Now it has having core voltage, so core voltage is 1.35 volt. So this is the output pin, so but this must not be loaded. This core voltage pin is actually used for your internal circuit like application. So this is the core application which is going to be 1.35 volt. We have capacitor placed between VDD and VSS directly. You can place 10 microfarad, and it has V core like a capacitor which is 470 nanofarad. This I will tell you what is the reason or why we are going to put 10 microfarad near the VDD pin and 470 nanofarad at V core pin. We have ambient temperature. So if you take about like a T version, then it will be working from -40 to 105 degrees centigrade. Okay, and if you talk about S version, then it will be having little bit extended temperature range, which is going to be -40 to 125 degrees centigrade. Okay, good. We have maximum junction temperature which is 125 degrees centigrade and 130 degrees centigrade for T and S version respectively. And the clock, if you see, with one flash wait state, it is 32 megahertz. Otherwise, if you want, you can reduce the capacity of uh, clocking, and it will be up to 24 megahertz. Next, we have power dissipation thermal rise. Okay, so what is the thermal information that this particular device is having is, if you talk about 32 pin VQFN package, so if you see theta JA, that is junction to ambient temperature resistance, is 36.3 degree centigrade per watt. So for 1 watt of power dissipation, there will be a increment of 36 degree centigrade in the temperature. All right, and it has junction to case temperature which is thermal resistance, which is going to be 28.5 degree centigrade per watt. So just 25 degree centigrade increase will be there for 1 watt per thermal dissipation. So anyway, our application will not be consuming 1 watt power, so the temperature rise will be very small. Okay, if you try to compare with this VQFN package and VSSOP package, you can see VSSOP package thermal capabilities are quite small compared to the VQFN package. So it is having 36.3, which was junction to ambient temperature resistance, whereas it is having 91.3 degree centigrade per watt. So this is very, very bad. Okay, however, where there is no need of thermal dissipation, or there is no application where it is going to be not increased a lot of temperature, these devices are recommended because they are having pins outside. All right, anyway, our target device is VQFN 32 pin package, and this is the thermal information about this particular device, and we will be going ahead with VQFN package. Okay, now at last we'll try to understand what is the ordering information, so that you can write down your part number very easily wherever you are. So this is the ordering information, and if you see, it is having MSP, that is processor family, it is having MCU platform, that is M0 family, and this is having product family which is L. Okay, then device sub family which is going to be 130, and 6 is your flash memory, so it can be 5, 4, whichever one you want. So it can be 6 is for 64 kb and 3 is for 8 kb. So whichever one you want, you can take up. All right. Then it is going to be RHB, which is going to decide about the package type, and it's going to be R, which is distribution rating. Okay, so package type, you can have this other table which I showed you just now about the device comparison table, where you can see RHB or DGS or something like that. So if you want to write down the part number of your device, what will happen? The first will be MSP, next will be M0, another one will be L series. Okay, and then we'll take up 130, not 134. Okay, 134 is also there here. Understood? Then 130, and then we'll take up flash memory maximum we'll take. Okay, which is going to be 64 kilobytes. Okay, so 1306, and we'll take up temperature range, which will be lower temperature range only. If you want, you can take up for extended temperature range, which is S. Okay, so we'll take up T. Okay, and then RHB. So this is the complete part number for your 32 pin VQFN package of 64 kilobytes memory. All right. So with this, we will just try to understand quickly what is the power supply scheme and what are the essential circuits that will be required to design this particular circuit, and then we'll try to understand the complete implementation of this particular device. Okay. So if you see the basic schematic diagram, so this is the diagram that is given in the data sheet as well, and all the power pins and open drain pins and high voltage tolerance pins are shown here directly. So if you see VDD pin, directly you connect VDD's power supply, so which is going to be 3.3 volt for us, and there will be a ceramic capacitance of 10 microfarad and 0.1 microfarad. So this 10 microfarad capacitor, you can take it 10 microfarad of up to 16 volt or 25 volt. Okay. Then, or it should be more than 16 volt, that is definitely. And zero point 0.1 microfarad, you can take up 25 volt capacity or 50 volt capacity also. Okay. Because 0.1 microfarad 50 volt capacities are more general compared to 25 volt capacities. This is the core pin. So core pin will be connected with 0.47 microfarad. Okay, so 0.47 microfarad with 16 volt will be more than enough for you. Now coming to the fact that NRST pin, that is reset pin. So reset pin is going to be like pulled up with 47 kilo ohm. So pulled up with your VDD. All right, which is connected here. Then it is going to be coupled with 10 microfarad capacitor as well. So 10 microfarad capacitor you will be putting, and this NRST pin will get connected to the reset button. Okay, so once this reset button is connected here, so this reset NRST will get connected here like this. Okay, this way, understood? And once this reset button is pressed, what will happen? This particular pin will pulled low. Okay, so you don't consider this line. This line was actually connected another ground and all, but however uh, this one is going to be connected to NRST pin to this push button pin, and push button pin will get pressed and it will get grounded, and this is how this device will get reset. Okay, so this is a complete design of reset circuit. We'll see very clearly in our circuit design. Now we have programming pin. So programming pin, you can see we have SWDIO pin and SWCLK pin directly going to get connected to our debug tool. We'll see that as well. And then we have open drain pins, which is going to be PA0 and PA1. Okay. So if you want to use these pins as output pin, okay. So output pin, then they must be pulled high. So that's why there will be a pull-up resistor that will be used. So if you want, you can directly connect 4.7 kilo ohm with your VDD pin that was given to you. So you want this directly can be connected to VDD, or if you want, you can have little bit higher voltage also, because they are having high voltage capacity as well. Okay, so you can connect it to 5 volt supplies. Now the best thing is there is a resistor that will be utilized for the internal oscillator calibration. Okay, so this ROSC pin is going to utilize for internal oscillator, and that you have to utilize very accurate resistor of 100 kilo ohm. Okay, so that is going to be utilized with plus minus 0.1% of 25% ppm, and 25 ppm with 100 kilo ohm value. Otherwise, if you want, you can utilize your external uh, oscillator as well, so that it can generate your frequencies. So all these parameters have been explained in only one page. So I recommend you to read this particular page in your data sheet, which will be schematic. Okay. So TI recommends connecting a combination of 10 microfarad, 0.1 microfarad with low ceramic decoupling capacitor. All right, between VDD and VSS. Okay. Then we have NRST reset pin must be pulled up with VDD supply, and then we have reset state. Okay, that starts with boot process. So reset state must be pulled high. Otherwise, what will happen? It will not let the machine let the device start only. So reset pin must be pulled high, and whenever it has to go to reset, the push button will be pressed and it will go to ground. Okay. So that's the reason it is telling that TI recommends connecting an external 47 kilo ohm pull-up resistor with 10 nanofarad pull-down capacitor. So here there was a mistake. Here they should not connect 10 microfarad. It should be 10 nanofarad. Okay. Now, if you see, we have a cis oscillator, that is frequency correction loop, which utilizes an external 100 kilo ohm of 0.1% tolerance resistor with a temperature coefficient of 25 ppm per degree centigrade. Okay, good. And we have PA2 pin may be used as digital input output pin also if you are not using your oscillator function. Got it? So this particular pin which was shown here, so this can be utilized as your GPIO as well. Then we have to attach one 0.47 microfarad tank capacitor, which will be required for your V-core pin, and must be placed as close as possible to the device with a minimum distance to the device and ground. Okay, and there should not be any other circuit that will be connected to drive with this particular voltage. Okay, so we must understand that V-core pin Only capacitor has to be connected and with ground, and there should not be any loading on this particular output. And there are two 5 volt tolerant pin, that is open drain pin, which we just now saw, that was PA0 and PA1, and they are uh, they are to be pulled up with resistors, okay, as well as for I2C and UART functions, as well as for open drain IO pins. So this is what the complete information about the particular device that we were talking about, which is MSPM0L1306. Okay. So in our next session, what we'll try to do is we'll try to understand the complete circuit design of this particular device and so many peripherals as well. So one by one we'll proceed. So with this, if you do have any questions regarding the device resources, or you have any queries regarding what is the application, where it can be used very specifically, you can put down your questions in the comment box, and which I will be able to answer you out. Thank you.